You know, he was coming forward the entire time, and he just couldn't catch him.
Whoa, whoa, ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell me what you really, really want, baby.
Welcome to a new episode of Drew and Pris Uncensored. We're excited to be here again.
I'm so excited.
So we're going to talk about Canelo Crawford.
Yes, we are.
What else we got in the show today? Lester Martinez, Christian and Billy. That was a great fight this past weekend.
Fernando Vargas. Not the greatest fight this past weekend.
Yeah. So where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the main event. Let's start with Canelo.
Okay.
Let's get right into it. I told you he was going to lose. I was a big Canelo fan, still am. But I called it. I said T-Bud was going to win, and you didn't believe it. What did you say? I think you said that Canelo was going to win in the 6th round.
6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said early.
Yeah. We did end up going, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
You
a lot
didn't
of
think
fun.
we were going to make it happen. We ended up going. That was a whole lot of fun. Can we start by talking about what it felt like to have it in Allegiant for the first time?
Well, first of all, walking in, you know, it's not like walking into a regular arena. It's not like walking into T-Mobile.
Yeah.
You know, where you walk in and within 3 minutes you're at your seats. Allegiant is a huge facility, right?
You have to check your purses, and that was a shit show. There was a
Yeah.
whole lot of people that couldn't get in because their purses were too big. Their purses weren't transparent. They had to go to a different part to go rent a locker for $40. And then I saw a video of what it took to get your purse back out of those lockers.
Yeah.
So that was a mess.
People waiting for hours to get their purses back.
Yep.
Right.
And then you walk in and you see those beautiful statues
Yes.
that I still want, one in my room.
That was cool.
That was really, really cool. I haven't seen that. And then you walk into Allegiant and it's just everything Canelo T-Bud, everything on the floors, on the walls.
Yeah, I was amazed on just the detail that they really put into it.
Yeah,
They
there
had
was a
decals
lot.
everywhere. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And then we went to the Raiders game on Monday, and all of that was completely gone.
Yeah.
Gone. They changed it. Those guys, man, God works fast, but people at Allegiant may work faster.
Yeah, so going into the stadium was crazy, and you know, right when we walked in, right, the very first thing I wanted to do before we went and got ourselves a drink, I wanted to peek in and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, how small the ring was going to look from where we were, and we had great seats.
We did.
Right, when we had really good seats.
Mm-hmm.
So when we peeked in, I looked down and I was like, wow, that ring looks so small.
Tiny.
Down there, right?
Yeah.
And we were just on that second level. Imagine what it looked like from
the very top.
Yeah,
I know.
From the very
I know.
top. But the amount of people that were there, I mean, it broke a record.
Over
70,000. Yeah,
70,000
70,470 something.
Oh, we broke
people.
record. It was insane. You know what I noticed is that it was very empty for a large part of the night.
Yeah, it's pretty normal though. I mean,
Yes, but no. Some of my girlfriends were like, girl, we're here. Like the co-main is about to start and it's still empty. What's happening? I think it had a lot to do with the traffic. The traffic was disgusting. Then the whole purse situation. Then to get in, right? To get in. I think people underestimated that whole entire process.
Think so. I don't think so because during the co-main event, I went up for a quick minute, and the top was packed. I mean, the bars were packed on
That's
top,
true.
so it was a party.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, but also it was Netflix, so they are going to run on time. Right, and that's what people fail to realize is that for other boxing events, they can kind of do a little bit more in between fights, a little bit more entertainment. This was back to back. There was no playing around.
I felt like there was a little bit. I mean, between the co-main event and the main event, I don't know, maybe half hour, 20 minutes.
There were
you know,
like
but
20
I remember going up. I mean, the stadium. Remember the other thing is with 70,000 people at full capacity. I mean, for the main event, it was packed, but the co-main event, I mean, maybe 3/4 full. I mean, there's a lot of people there.
Do you remember what I was doing in the middle of the fights, though? What was I doing in the middle of the fights?
You were screaming? I don't know.
Well, yes, but I was pulling up the fight on Netflix
That's
while
right.
watching the fight.
Yeah.
Why? Because it was silent. With 70,000 people in the room, you would expect it to just have this energy that's like beyond no other.
Yeah.
It was silent. It was very awkward to not hear anything.
Well, if you look on the Netflix prelims, which were great.
Yeah.
It was empty.
It was
Yeah,
it was very empty.
They were in a huge stadium, though. That place was humongous.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
It's
so it's very
very
different
huge.
from being in an arena. And typically, when you're in a smaller arena, you know, something that holds 10, 15,000 people, the crowd will move to the bottom. And then as
Yeah.
people start showing up to their seats,
They'll move out of the way.
They move out of the way. And
No,
then
you
move
couldn't
back
do that
up.
out there.
So,
No,
yeah, you
couldn't
could. Yeah,
do
that definitely wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Security was definitely on lockdown.
Yeah, I did see exactly what I called. I did see a lot of people enjoying boxing. All of a sudden, those who were usually not people who would watch boxing or who would ever have an opportunity to attend, I did see a lot of people, a lot of celebrities who have never been to a boxing
yeah.
match before, made videos of how this was their first boxing match and will not be their last because it was that entertaining, that
Yeah.
it was just a whole lot of fun
Well,
for them.
I don't think, you know, because they're showing the celebrities, you know, as they started coming in towards the main event, the co-main
Yes.
event, and
Yes.
the main event. And there was tons and tons and tons of
People who
celebrities.
you would have never thought.
Yeah, it
it
would
was
be
like
at a,
Charlie Sheen was there.
Oh, of course,
Like the
Charlie
mo-
goes to all the fights.
The
I
most
see,
random.
I see Charlie at all the fights all the time. So
You couldn't even see Mark Wahlberg. I kept telling you that's Mark Wahlberg, and you're like, no, it's not. I'm like, zoom in. That's Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Sitting next to Turkey.
Yeah. There was, but just so many celebrities and celebrities like you said you wouldn't expect.
Yeah. Oh, and
to
I kept
see.
saying, why is Turkey looking at the screen in front of him? Why isn't he watching it? The ring is in front of him, and this man is watching it on the screen. Either that or he was asleep. I did
well,
see
he had
comments.
his glasses on.
I
A lot of
saw-
people thought he was sleeping.
I saw a lot of comments that said that he was asleep.
Priscilla, a lot of people were commenting that
I
he
think
was
it's
sleeping.
like an 18-hour difference. Give the man a break. He's on a
No,
whole
he's been here
time
He's been here for
zone.
weeks and weeks. Come on. I don't think he was sleeping. I couldn't see him sleeping on an event
There
like
was
that.
a man sitting next to you that was asleep.
That was
I got
sleeping.
I
Yeah.
got that on video.
Yeah, that was funny.
It happens. And did you see that?
How do you
that-
pay $3,000 or $4,000 for sleep?
well, that
and then
was
you're
a lot of
sleeping?
the comments too. A lot of the comments were saying that the real fight of the night was them fighting their sleep throughout the night. Like by the time the main event went on, especially on the East Coast, it was midnight.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Right.
so now let's talk about Canelo and Crawford.
Well. First off, let's do this. Let's touch on the prelims, and then we'll get into Canelo.
Okay.
Let's talk about the prelims.
Sure.
So Lester Martinez, Christian, and Billy. I think, to be honest with you, I think that stole the night.
That was a brutal
to me. That was
fight.
probably
That was boxing.
I enjoyed that fight more than I enjoyed the co-main and the main event. To be honest with you.
I broke a nail chewing on it. I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I was chewing on it that entire fight. That's how I broke this nail.
Yeah, those
that
guys
was
were
a
going at it.
great fight. I just saw that there's going to be a rematch.
They should.
I think they need a few months to recover because they both got beat
Yeah, they were
pretty
thrown
bad.
down.
Yeah, they were fighting for their lives out there. I was really rooting for Martinez. I was really kind of hopeful to have the first Guatemalan champion. I'm still rooting for him. I just found out today that he was part of T-Bud's
Oh, wow.
part of his camp. So that explains, I'm wondering what it was like to work alongside of him, what kind of tips and tricks that he got. Could you imagine being from Guatemala
Yeah.
and then being here, just fighting next to the person that you admire the most?
Yeah, you know what? People thought he was Mexican. He was sporting the Mexican gear all week, right?
I think it benefits him. I mean,
Yeah,
there was a lot of Mexicans. I mean, Tiba paid his
Yeah.
respects too. His walkout
course.
song too. I mean,
Of course.
good. It's Mexican Independence Weekend, as they should.
But he also has a huge Mexican following.
Absolutely.
You know,
was raised around a lot of them too.
Yeah, and you know, real fight fans, you know, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So we go after who we like, regardless of if they're Mexican or not. Like me, I'm Mexican, right? Like I'm Latino, and I just. You
Well,
know,
I'm Mexican and I was rooting for him.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm Mexican and I was rooting for T-Bud. So it had nothing to do with that. It just had to do with just style. I really, really love T-Bud.
Yeah, so back to Lester Martinez.
Yes.
It'd be great to see a second fight.
Yes.
I think that would be huge. Hopefully we can see that in the coming months.
Here. It
Yeah.
belongs here.
Yeah, totally. Co-main event. Co-main
Yeah,
event.
I was gonna touch on that.
Uh-oh.
What?
You've been waiting. You've been waiting for this
I'm
moment.
so embarrassed.
To talk. You've been waiting for this
I'm
moment.
so embarrassed. I'm so
to
embarrassed.
talk about
Like
Vargas.
I said, I was very surprised, Vargas. I'm trying to be very careful with my words because I still want him on our show.
Yeah.
I
mean, but we were
and
honest.
this is nothing personal. This isn't nothing that he hasn't heard. I'm sure he's beating himself up. I was very surprised that he was a co-main. Very surprised.
Well, first of all, he was fighting with a broken hand. You know that, right?
Oh, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He had,
Oh my
I
gosh.
believe I don't know if it was broken, but I didn't know that he had.
I did see that
hand
he had
issue.
some kind of cast after. I did see that.
Yes.
That
and
that
apparently,
changes
I
things.
saw an interview. Don't quote me on this, but I saw an interview with Fernando Vargas Sr., who said that Junior may have been holding back on telling him, the true state of his hand.
Maybe because he knew that he was going to have him pull out or something.
I don't
along
know.
those
I don't
lines.
know, but
I mean, that's a tough decision. How do you pull out of a fight? That's like his moment, right? Okay, so that would explain a whole lot. I was rooting for him. I was yelling him. I was, really, really rooting for him.
I
One,
know.
because he's local.
I was sitting next to you. Of course, I could hear you screaming for him.
I was rooting for him, and it was just not a good look. It wasn't a good look. I'm still rooting for him. Again, he's local, and I loved how he posted that he once worked on the construction site for Allegiant, and now to be fighting in Allegiant is a really big deal for him. I don't know how he's going to come back from this. This was his shot in front of the entire world.
He took his first O. It happens. This
was a big one.
Yeah, no, I get that, but he's still a Vargas.
But he was fighting against a really good opponent,
Yeah,
though.
tough fighter.
Yeah, Walsh was really, really, really great. He fought with heart. Walsh fought with heart.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing. I mean, we checked in with our fans on the Boxing VIP network and our social media networks around the fifth. I think on the fifth round to give them an update. And I had 5. I had Walsh up by 5 in the fifth round. I mean, and my feedback to to our followers were that there just wasn't any head movement. I didn't see any head movement. He seemed flat-footed. He was just there was no urgency coming into the fifth. Coming into the fifth, you're down 5. 5 rounds to none. I mean, you'd think there'd be a little bit of urgency. I just didn't see the urgency.
I was telling you, I was like, who's in his corner? What are they telling him in his corner? I saw Emmy got into his corner later on in the fight. That's what I feel like needed to happen earlier on. But I was kind of confused of who was in his corner and what were they telling him in between rounds.
Well, the thing is he was getting a lot of pressure on him. And remember, when you're in that corner, I mean, I've made that mistake in the past working corners as well. Sometimes, 10 rounds can go fast.
Yeah.
Right. 2 or 3 rounds goes like that.
Well, it's easy for me to say,
and sometimes what you see in the corner, right? You think, especially and some of those were close rounds. Right, even those first, the first 5, I think he could have pulled it off if he would have threw some furies at the end or ended strong, which didn't happen, nor did it happen, for the remainder of the fight. But yeah, 10 round goes fast. Sometimes what you see in the corner, you think it's close, and sometimes what your game plan is to come out strong in the later rounds, reserve some of that energy.
Yep, your stamina.
And as long as you're winning some of those early rounds, then you're good, coming into the late rounds. So, there's always strategy behind it. But yeah, I just didn't see any urgency, and I didn't really see any change after that 6th round. But it's too bad. I'm a huge fan of Fernando. I think he could have done a better job. And it's just unfortunate, but it's his first O, and that's sometimes that's good for a fighter.
To come back stronger.
We were just
humbles you a bit.
Well, it does, and like our last interview that we had with help me out here, Brian Mendoza. He said the same thing. He's like, hey, sometimes you have to make a change, and sometimes it takes a loss, takes 2 losses to make a change to realize that you're doing something wrong. So that, and in addition to that, sometimes fighters will dodge you. So when you get that first O, opens up doors.
Yeah.
Right. And overall, that first O, you're like, okay, I lost.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready. What do I have to change? What do I have to do to get back? Absolutely. I agree. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know what that's going to look like for him. Like, how do you come back from something like that? I'm just curious.
He's Fernando Vargas. He has.
He will.
He has the connections.
I'm just curious. How was that his first fight here in Vegas?
It was a big fight.
In Vegas?
No, it wasn't his first fight in Vegas, but that was a big. I mean, it was a big fight.
It was a big fight. Yeah.
On Netflix in front of 70,000 people.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, being in the middle of
the
that
pressure.
ring. Do you feel like there's going to be another fight at Allegiant after that? Like, do you positive experience, negative experience? I'm very curious what what our followers are gonna say about that. I'm very curious if
Well,
that's
first of all,
something
you
that-
have to have a mega fight that's going to draw that many people.
And it did.
In order, yeah, it did. In order for it to, fill 70,000 people, and
Yeah.
and we'll get to Canelo in a second. But I think if there was a second Canelo fight, I don't think it would draw 70,000 people again.
I'm really curious how much money they made because just on nachos alone, oh my gosh.
Your $30 nachos?
It was like $24, and then immediately it's like 25% tip, and you feel guilty because they're just staring at you with a big old smile, and the lady just put extra beef and cheese on mine, so of course I'm gonna tip her. $25 for some nachos is insane. Multiply that by however many people. You had a big ass hot dog. I don't even want to know how much that cost. I think we spent more money on drinks and food than we did on the tickets.
Yeah, cocktails are $25.
Insane. If we're like, no, they
think we
weren't.
had-
I think they were $40.
Well, we were having doubles, but we won't talk
That's
about that.
insane.
So, but overall, I mean, I thought the experience was great. I'm glad we went.
I am very happy.
And deep down inside, I knew I was going to go. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't have an event like that.
Yeah,
and
they
not
had the
show up.
wristbands with the lights. They had the memorabilia Ring magazine. That's really cool.
The crowd sounded entirely different. I mean, you get a crowd in an arena, and it's loud.
It
When you
was.
get a crowd in the stadium, that's a roar. That's an entirely different sound. So I mean, you definitely heard the roar of the crowd. It was a lot of excitement coming in. You're right. There was a lot of people that weren't typical boxing fans that were there.
At all.
Tons of them. Tons.
Yeah.
More than I ever expected. And I think that has a lot to do with Dana White, right? And trying to get this sport more mainstream. That's my personal
I don't
view.
think
The way he
it's
marketed it.
because of
No, the way he marketed.
China.
No,
I think it's
partially.
more because of Turkey, but that's another.
No.
That's another story for another day.
Dana White, he's a marketing guy. Look what he's done. With the UFC.
Okay,
Right?
we are not
And-
going to talk about Dana White today. That's
No,
not what we're gonna
but
do.
really to touch on it, I mean, it felt kind of like a UFC fight. You go to a UFC fight, and you can tap on the person in front of you and back on the side and ask them, hey, well, who's the headliner? Most of them can't even tell you, right? They're just there because they want to watch UFC.
Yeah.
You go to a boxing, event,
And you know who the headliner is, though.
Everybody around you knows boxing. They know who the undercard is. They
Right.
know. So this felt more like a UFC fight where there
Okay,
were
I
a
can
lot of
see that.
non-boxing fans.
Yeah, I could see that.
That were there. A lot of high rollers. I was shocked. I really didn't think that they were going to put 70,000 people.
I didn't think it was going to fill
big
up.
History.
I did not think it was going to fill up. I really expected a lot of those sections to be closed off, and it was just insane. Right? Like I can't imagine Fernando walking into this stadium and just seeing this huge arena packed with people.
Oh, so many people.
And I'm really, who am I, right? Like, who are we? We all have an opinion on these boxers and yada, yada, yada. But you don't know until you're there walking into that arena.
Oh, yeah.
About to get into the ring to fight for X amount of rounds. I cannot imagine the nerves and what that does to your psyche, to your brain, to your head.
I think it was a much bigger moment for. Let's talk about it. So I think it was a much bigger moment for Crawford than it was for Canelo.
Oh, it was a huge
Right.
moment
because
for Crawford.
Canelo's been in that atmosphere.
It was
before.
a
He's been-
huge moment.
Yeah.
A huge moment because it proved, just like he proved you wrong, he proved
Prove me wrong. I'm not. There's no
millions of
argument
other
there.
people wrong as well. Millions of other people. People know his name now. I mean, people have been knowing his name, and whoever didn't, I'm glad they know his name now.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
So let me touch. I want to touch on this. It's important for me to get it out early.
Okay.
Right, because I know there's a lot of criticism I'm going to get from you.
I'm nervous. Oh,
in the next
yeah,
5 or
I'm
10
so-
minutes, talking about it. But, so styles make fights,
Yes.
right? There's no. I think that was a tough style for him. I think he'd have now. Looking at him today, I think he'd have some challenges. Definitely would have challenges with Benavidez. And I
Okay.
definitely can't see that fight happening.
Oh
after
no,
this.
gosh no. And Benavidez would have to go down and wait, and yeah, no, that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. I don't want that for either of them.
I'm talking for Canelo.
Oh, for Canelo.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm talking for Canelo. I can't see that fight happening after this. Maybe.
I think it might be his last. I could see that happening as his last.
Oh, I
Like,
don't
let me
think
make
so.
some quick money and get out.
No.
Absolutely.
I think he still has juice in him. But
No. I'm saying I could see that happening as his last fight.
Really,
Yeah, because the people want it.
maybe. I see Canelo still having some juice in him for another year or two. A couple
No, I'm
years.
saying I could see Benavidez being the last fight that he goes out with.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I could see him pulling that stunt of like, okay, one more fight.
Yeah.
Benavidez fight being the last one.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Mark my words.
Maybe. but styles make fights.
Yes.
Right, and it just wasn't a good style for Canelo. And more important, Canelo. I mean, he was flat-footed, and there were some things that I thought he would have changed up, knowing that he's getting in the ring with someone that's faster. Because there was no argument. I made no argument that Crawford was definitely faster, right?
Which everybody was shocked, including myself, because I wondered how much the extra weight was gonna affect his speed, and it didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that on the weight in regards to the speed. With the weight with Crawford, I was more concerned that he even with that weight, even with the weight change with him and Canelo was just going to be too powerful for him. And
Huge, that was a big boy.
Yeah, and you know what? And I don't want to say that didn't happen, because it could have happened. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, it really wasn't a fight. It was boxing. Crawford, and I'm not making I'm not trying to make arguments here because I called it wrong. To be honest with you, I'm not a big Canelo fan. I'm really not. I didn't really start looking and taking an interest in Canelo until the last 2 or 3 years. I'm like, okay, yeah, when he started going up in weight, I've never been sold on him being, one of the all Mexican greats. I mean, today I am, but I was never sold on that. So,
okay.
so it's not like I'm a huge Canelo fan. I'm really not. But let's be honest. I mean, Crawford fought 10 rounds on the back foot, if not 12 rounds on the back foot. And Canelo was, if you really look, early on, I mean, he was chasing him around the ring and he got tired out. So if we want to talk statistics, I had Canelo winning, 3. I had him winning 3 out of the first, out of the first 6. I thought it was even coming into the 6th round. I really did. I went back, revisited the tape, volume off, and yeah. And you know what? And I could see how judges may see that, although judges didn't give him any. I don't think they gave anything in the first.
I don't even.
4.
Yeah.
But I had him winning those rounds.
Yeah, we looked, I think, at the 5th round, and we're like, oh, that is way off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me it was. But we'll start early on. But judges, they look at every judge is different. I think these are the same judges that. Don't quote me on that, but I think these are the same judges that were on for the Pacquiao Barrios. Sometimes judges, when you're fighting on the back foot, you're coming in with some changes, you're running around. Judges don't like that.
Yeah.
And of course they're counting points and they have to see it as have to make a biased decision on what they're watching. But let's be honest. I mean, Crawford was coming in. He was coming in with combinations, and he was getting out. He was coming in. He was getting out. I think Canelo just couldn't. Yeah, no, I get that. But again, it was a great boxing exhibition. It was not a fight. I want to say there was maybe 2 rounds. The 8th, maybe the 8th round where there was an exchange where
I didn't think it was going to be a fight.
In.
We're not expecting like Martinez level fight.
No. I thought it'd be a little bit more.
Why would you think that if the last 2 Canelo fights weren't fights?
Because I think that the weight had a lot to do with it. And now when he felt he was fighting a smaller guy, but Canelo wasn't fighting on the back foot. He was coming forward the entire time, and he just couldn't catch him. And more importantly, he tired him out.
You know what? Really, I'm really happy that it was very clear as day that he won, that T-Bud won.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I would be very upset for him if it was a draw. I would be very upset for him if it wasn't as clear as day. I'm very glad that it was clear as day, but I'm still upset at the comments. It's like you cannot win. You cannot win. People that are saying, oh, that fight was bought. That fight was paid for. Like, it was meant to be that way so they can do a rematch. Like, you just can't win in this game.
I've definitely heard a lot.
He just put his all into it. He clearly won. And then it's still, that wasn't really him. That was bought. No. He won, and clear and fair.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. What do you think you'd see a different Canelo coming out, and if there was a second fight? Do you see a different Canelo? There would have to be a different Canelo.
Part of me wants to say yes, but another part of me wants to say insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The past 3 fights, Canelo has not been prime Canelo. He's just not in his prime anymore. He's turned into a one-dimensional fighter.
My
answer is no.
It's unfortunate, but he has. He made no adjustments during that fight.
That's what I'm saying. So why would we think he's going to make the adjustments after? My answer is no. No.
Would you watch it?
Of course. It's Canelo. Of course. I would absolutely watch it. He's got 3 fights left. I would absolutely watch it.
Maybe more. But it was, so from that aspect, for me, it was a little disappointing that there wasn't more exchanges.
Sure.
I would have liked to see Crawford, just stay in the pocket a little bit more.
Okay.
And once the ring got cut off on him, I mean, he was dodging bullets and getting out of the corner. So I mean, I know, I get that. I get what he was trying to do, but it was just unfortunate.
So now I have 2 questions, Andrew.
Sure, go ahead. Hit me with them. Go ahead.
Who do you see T-Bud fighting next? Who would you like to see him fight next?
Wow, I have to sit down and think about that.
You're sitting down, think about it.
Honestly, who would I like to see? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it. I'd like to see a rematch because I would like to see Canelo adjust. I would like to see Canelo adjust.
Okay.
No, I think Canelo would adjust.
Okay.
He has to know by now that what he's doing isn't working.
Okay.
Right? He made 0 adjustments. He was fighting fighting flat, like I mentioned, flat-footed, right? There was no urgency, right? I think I think if there was a second fight, I would have to think that he would make some adjustments and we would see a very different fight. So that's who I would like to see him.
Okay.
Fight next.
My second question is, now do you think T-Bud is up there in one of the best fighters of all time?
No, I do not. You can't.
Damn it.
I'm a hard critic. Okay, I'm a tough one. Yes, he's accomplished, but remember, I'm going back to Muhammad Ali, right?
Yes.
I mean, these were very different fighters, but I could tell you something, and this I can tell you. The reason I really just can't say that is because of the performance. He came in, he boxed, he was in and he was out. And you know what? There was a comment made after that fight. I can't remember if it was from you or it was with my son who was sitting ringside with us watching the fight. After the fight, someone made a comment, hey, you're a big, big Mayweather fan. You love Floyd, right? And, Terence Crawford is a lot like Floyd. He runs around. I was like, that's absolutely not true. Floyd Mayweather would get in the pocket when he needs to, and he would stay in the pocket, and he would exchange. I didn't see that with Crawford. So, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I can tell you, Floyd Mayweather in his prime, Crawford wouldn't have a chance. Crawford would not have a chance with Floyd Mayweather in his prime. So just 2 different fighters. Do I put him?
can see that.
Do I put
Okay.
him? Yeah. Do I put him as one of the all-time greats? Yeah, I'm sure he'll end up being one of the all-time greats. He accomplished something in multiple weight divisions. He's undisputed. I mean, come on, we can go down the list on his accomplishments.
He's having a parade, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Wow.
having, as he should. He deserves it. He deserves all of it. All of the brand deals. He deserves all of it. He only made, I think I saw $50 million on that fight.
Only $50 million?
Yeah, come on. Compared to Canelo, $150 million. That's a huge difference. His stock just went up, though, after that fight. Okay, well, I am very excited for our guest next week. I'm very, very excited. He doesn't do many interviews. I think he's only done one before. It's the third man in the ring.
Third man in the ring. Third man in the ring.
No other than Tom Taylor,
Yes.
the referee of the fight of the night. I'm very, very excited to have him next week. I'm very curious.
He doesn't do interviews.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't do interviews.
He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't do social media. So this is a really big deal.
Yeah, which is understandable because those guys.
Oh, people
right?
are brutal. Yeah, people are really brutal.
Well, no, not only that, those guys have to be very biased. Like they,
Unbiased.
they can't, have. I'm talking with, referees. They have to just, be in the middle. There's certain things they can talk about. Certain things they can't. They can't
have
give
to
their
be
opinions.
neutral. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally neutral.
So I'm very
that's
curious.
excited. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very curious what our followers have. What do they want to ask? Are there any specific questions that we should ask? Anything that you're curious about? We are going to be reading the comments and we're going to be asking away.
Third man in the ring.
Yeah.
Wow, we
I'm
pulled that one
excited.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So that'll be on our next show.
Yes.
And that'll probably be airing next week sometime.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. I want to also put something out there really quick because it kind of bothered me over the last couple days or this past week. Ricky Hatton, unfortunately,
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Hatton passed away.
Yeah.
at age 46.
He did, very young, very,
you know,
very young, very sad.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of details, so I don't want to talk a lot about it. But you know, it was a
No,
huge Ricky
out of
Ricky
respect
Hatton.
as well.
And I had an opportunity to meet him a couple times and talk with him,
Wow.
spend some time, not a lot of time with him, but to meet him and you know, and talk boxing
Yeah.
a few times. Just an amazing man. You know, he's done so much. He's done so much for the sport. You know, his
A
involvement,
lot of great fights.
and plus his involvement with the kids and the community is
Mm-hmm.
just such a sad story. But I could tell you he won't be forgotten.
No,
So
absolutely
I
not.
just
I'm
wanted
really
to
glad
touch
that you
on
brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we're all done here for the day.
Yeah.
We're excited about the interview next week. So be
So
sure
excited.
to be sure to check back in and watch us on the at boxingvip.com where you can watch this show,
Yep.
previous shows, the next show coming up. Look at some of the past shows. We got had some really good shows over this last.
Yep. Our
Last couple
Instagram
months.
tag is Boxing VIP Network. What's your Instagram tag on Instagram? Is it just Andrew Bocanegra?
Bocanegra Boxing.
Bocanegra Boxing, and then Talking with Pris.
Yeah.
Or Talking with Priscilla, I think it is.
Talking with Priscilla.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Till next week.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa. Ooh, yeah, yeah.